Hello, I'm Steve Robertson from South Coast Television. You may have heard about ramping, particularly in the context of hospitals in the Adelaide area. This is where ambulances and their paramedic crews literally have to wait, sometimes for hours, at a hospital entrance until there's room inside the hospital for the patient to be seen. Lou Nicholson is the independent candidate for the upcoming state parliament seat of Finniss. She's joined today by Ross Wimshurst. Now, he's a retired paramedic and is also the husband of a current paramedic. Lou, just how serious is this ramping problem here on the South Coast?
Thank you, Steve. We have a significant problem with our ambulance service down here on the South Coast. I was lucky to meet with Ross and his lovely wife Deb, who is one of our current paramedics here on the South Coast, a few weeks ago to really get a picture of what's happening here. Ross has kindly speaking with us today to just let our community know how serious this issue is and what needs to be done. So Ross, thank you so much for meeting with me the other day. I was really concerned by the situation that we have at the moment. Can you explain what Deb, your wife, is experiencing at the moment as a paramedic here on the South Coast?
Well, currently the ramping in Adelaide is affecting our local crews here in Victor Harbour. And I can only really speak for Victor Harbour, but they go to Adelaide with a patient on board and they can be ramped down there for some hours. I mean, Deb's come home and told me that she was stuck at the Flinders Medical Centre for 5.5 hours. In that time, there's 5.5 hours of the area that here is not covered by a paramedic crew.
So we don't have our local paramedics available for our region?
Not between the hours of 12 and 8 o'clock in the morning, no.
If they're stuck down at Flinders
Yes.
with a transfer.
Yes.
And do we have other cover during that time?
The only other cover we get is from volunteer crews surrounding us, like Yankalilla, Goolwa, and Strathalbyn.
Right.
So, yeah, which is really unfair to put the load onto those people.
Can you talk about what Deb's current experience is working as one of our local paramedics?
Well, currently, when Deb goes to work, she goes to work not knowing when her next meal break's coming or when they're going to get a break and a rest. So, and she has told me of ramping for 5.5 hours at the Flinders Medical Centre. We have people who are ringing up to get ambulances and they're told that it's going to take 40 minutes or more to get them to the ambulance to them.
Yeah.
And that it may be necessary for them to take their patient to a hospital themselves.
And in the past, that is something that has never been done, to tell patients to make their own way because the ambulance is not able to get there quick enough.
Yeah, no, we've never had to do that. And in fact, our average response times back then were about 16 minutes. And so getting an ambulance to the patient was not a hard job or not a real issue.
Yeah. So what is causing that difficulty at the moment for our local paramedics?
The fact that they're obviously never in the area because they're always going to Adelaide carrying patients, and so when they get ramped down there, they're not back here covering the area, and that stresses them because they want to be here. They hear jobs going down in their area and they can't get there to do anything about it.
So there are times where our local region is not covered by one of our local ambulance teams?
On a few occasions, yes.
Can you tell me, Ross, if you think lives are at risk here on the South Coast because of inadequacies in the current system?
I don't think I know they are, and in fact there have been some unfortunate deaths because of the delay in getting ambulances to people. But the government doesn't seem to care about it. They just go waffling on the way they've been going.
What do you think the state government does need to do at this point?
They need to have a complete look at the health system itself, not just the ambulance service. I mean, the ambulance service is suffering because of it, but I believe it's a complete health system problem.
Yeah.
We don't have enough beds in the hospitals. We don't have enough staff in the hospitals, and because of that, then the emergency rooms become waiting rooms while they find a bed for these people. So they get crowded. Then the ambulances get ramped because they haven't got any beds to put the people in.
Yeah. And I was told when we caught up that when Deb did start at the local ambulance service, she was told there would be a new station. Has that happened?
No, it's gone to Hansard, apparently, but there's no time frame in place to have the new station. In fact, they keep upgrading the old station, which is way past its use-by date.
And is that something that would help our local paramedics, having a new station?
Yeah, it would. It gives them a greater area to do their study, and they have bedrooms that they can have a sleep if the opportunity arises.
Yeah.
So yeah, it would help a lot.
And that is what our metropolitan stations have.
Generally, the metropolitan stations don't sleep at night because they're always on the go.
Yeah.
But in country areas, they can if the time permits.
Yeah, and they're doing very long shifts.
They are. They do 10-hour day shifts and 14-hour night shifts.
Yeah.
And if you're not getting a break on a 14-hour night shift, you get worried about whether your decision-making process towards the end, because you're so tired, you're hungry, you haven't had a rest.
Yeah.
So you really worry about your decision-making process and whether you're going to be able to benefit the patient.
In Victor Harbor, Steve Robertson, South Coast Television.
Authorised by Lou Nicholson, 1, 71 Hill Street, Port Elliot, SA, 5212. Spoken by Lou Nicholson, Steve Robertson, and Ross Wimshurst.
South Coast Television, your community, your voice.